Hoodie guy coming back here with another one. Wanted to pop on, do a live stream. Here you have Kaspa.stream, which I guess now seems like the main gate to go to Block Explorer since Cast.fyi is sunsetted. If you go to Cast.fyi, it's got basically a goodbye notice, thank you, and redirects within 5 or 10 seconds over here to Kaspa.stream. But you can see here when you go down and look at the wallets that they have wallet number 36 tagged that has 54 million Kaspa as Mara. So it's kind of what the thumbnail is about there. We're going to take a look at a couple other things right now. A lot of people talking about the Bank of Japan starting to sell ETFs as early as January, according to Bloomberg. Japan's ETF holdings are valued at $534 billion and will take 112 years to sell at their current price. Talking about the Bank of Japan is set to hike rates this week. It's important to understand that the yen carry trade is deeply woven into the key layers of the U.S. credit stack, not just one-off trading in a corner FTX. Now, this person's talking about that basically Bitcoin dumps whenever there's the basis. Bank of Japan raises rates. Bank of Japan will hike rates to 75 basis points for the first time in 17 years. Excuse me. And so there, a lot of people were borrowing the yen and then with almost no interest, and then making investments into equities or whatever it was. That trade's going down. So I don't know how it's going to shake out. You remember last year there's a lot of the yen carry trade when the price went down. So I think you could be prepared for volatility if that's coming online. That's just a real thing. They're really going to raise rates. How the market reacts, we don't know, but we know that that's something that's on the docket and going to happen, and could really affect the markets and to the downside. I don't know. Some people call them for $60,000-$70,000 Bitcoin. So altcoins will obviously, you can get the outsiders that, go against the grain for the most part. The market moves together. You can see Kaspa's 60 according to Crypto Bubbles. Did get down just to barely over 4 cents. So also it's been pretty brutal for altcoins here. Now, these odds are changing around a little bit, but Kevin Hassett was the front runner by a large margin for the Fed chair, and now it's Kevin Warsh. He doesn't seem quite as bullish. Seems like he might not be that bad, but I mean, he wasn't a Coinbase advisor, so if I had to choose, I would choose Kevin Hassett, and he's not the front runner. I don't know. Some people thought that maybe Trump was getting pushed back for Kevin Hassett by the system, and maybe that's why they're going with Kevin Warsh. And you can see that pretty much the market's expecting no rate change in January 28th at that Fed meeting. Now, if Trump does signal or come out and officially say who he's going to nominate as the Fed chair, then whoever that is pretty much going to be the shadow chair. And what they say is going to be more important than Jerome Powell because he's on the way out. So his future projections. Now, I just want to talk about how much a family vacation cost to Maui. And here you can see that it was $6,366. You know, when you're in crypto, if you're like, man, I could have bought a lot of Bitcoin or Kaspa with that. Half of it was the hotel, Airbnb, $3,200. The flight was the tickets were about $1,000. Parking at the airport, $288. Charging for the car, $36. Travel food, kind of food at the airports and on the way there and stuff like that, $84. Ubers around Maui. We didn't rent a car. Ubers, $335. Groceries, buying groceries at the grocery store, which there's an expensive one that was kind of nearby, but there was actually there was still local people shopping there, but $569. I guess most people, they rent a car and then go to Costco, which is right next to the airport. Restaurants were getting $778. So that was pretty much how much that vacation cost if anyone was interested. No one might be interested, but I thought it would be interesting to cover that. That stuff's kind of interesting to me. I like seeing cost breakdowns and stuff. I was kind of interested in how much everything tallied up because you're buying dinner here, going to the grocery store there, getting an Uber here, getting an Uber there. Um, it kind of, you're spending a little bit here and there, and then it's kind of interesting to see it how it adds up at the end. So I expect a lot of volatility. I mean, right now, technically, the 4-year cycle is still intact because pretty much it when in October when Bitcoin topped at 126 fits it was about 550 days somewhere around there from the halving, which kind of fits for the post halving year. But there's reason to believe things can pump. Now, some people think that the Trump administration is going to try to do everything it can to pump the markets so that during midterms, Republicans, maintain their lead or even extend it. But there's only so many knobs and dials, and in theory, every time that there was either a Democrat, Republican president with House and Senate, the same party, they should never lose power because they'd be able to pump the market every 2 years. You have a lot of people that are going to vote one way or the other, no matter what. But you have some people in the middle that tend to vote based off if the economy is going good or if the economy is not going good. And so, as a holder, and if you're looking to take some profit next year, you're hoping the market's going to be up. I mean, the charts aren't looking good, and so it's not a 0% chance that the 126 was the top for the cycle, but things are different with more institutional money, more institutional manipulation. But there's some reasons to think that they really might. I don't know. Maybe it's until the new Fed chair. Now the Fed chair is like there's still other people voting, so they don't have complete power. But what they said, say can move the market. So I don't know. I'm still bullish about next year. Times like now when the sentiment's in the gutter, and this yen trade thing might come out and blow up the market. We might recover from that, and maybe after this Japan yen trade, if they do raise the rates and the market crashes, then maybe that marks the bottom. I don't know. And that's the tricky part is that we just don't know exactly. It's a lot easier in 2027 to look back and go, yep, see, that's what I thought was going to happen in 2026. But right here, you're just working with a lot of unknowns. I mean, Taiwan can get invaded and the whole AI chip stuff could get blown up for a while, and that would affect the market. So there's just so many little factors. Um, you know, so we'll see, and it takes time for like the hard fork and VProgs and stuff like that to come online. You can see that, right now, Caspa.stream still have only used it a few times. Used to cast.fyi. So, still, they're probably a work in progress still. I don't know. Maybe you've been using it longer than me. You can drop a comment and let me know. But there's some other tools out there. There's like the original one too. But there's tools out there. It shows the payload type right here with KRC20s. Different right here. K Social. So I guess maybe K Social is a new one. Cassia. K Social there. Looks like there's a lot of K Social. Via BTC, it shows the blocks. I guess who's mining it. Via Antpool, via BTC, Cryptex. Looks like maybe home miners, some of the ones that aren't listed there. So, let's see, the hash rate 47, that's actually rebounded a little bit there, back up. So, hi, Jose. Thank you for tuning in. Nice to see you. Just wanted to pop on here and take a look at a few things. I made a video about the hard fork next year that Jonathan and some of the core devs want. And then I saw later that the Mara wallet's been tagged. A lot of people for days have been talking about this Bank of Japan yen carry trade potentially blowing up. It's relevant because it, could mean that prices could go lower. We just don't know. That's why I'm not a short-term trader. Kevin Warsh could be the next Fed chair. According to Grok, I don't think he's as crypto friendly as Kevin Hassett, in my personal opinion. Doesn't look like there'll be rate cuts in January. So, market's down since the last rate cut. So it's, sometimes they're not the blessing in disguise, or it takes longer for that to happen. So That's all I got. I appreciate you tuning in, and 2025 is a done year. Best we can hope for now is 2026 is a much better year. Regardless, we'll hold Caspa to 2030 as a minimum. Yeah, we're pretty much 2025. And actually, sometimes you get people selling off here at the end of the year for tax reasons. So, we could even, and if this Bank of Japan, and then if the prices start going down after the yen carry trade and they raise their rates or whatever, then you could be looking at people using that to even fud the market more. Sell off. Sometimes you get the end of the year, people selling off. I just want to say thanks for all the work making these videos. Been following you for a year now. Rigid eye socket. I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for the kind words. Jose, short term, I have no idea what will happen. Medium and long term, I'm very bullish. I agree with Jose there. The short term, the longer you extend your time frames, it's easier to say like, okay, and just with anything is Apple stock going up tomorrow or up down? It could be down 1%, 2%, up 2%. The Fed is starting to inject 45 billion liquidity. Yep, I know that on December 12th they started buying. They're planning on buying $40 billion worth of treasuries. It seems like the financial system is, yeah, Kaspa did, but it also, I think that's a little bit of a caveat to what Kaspa did in the last bear market, is that it's easy to go from 0 to 100 when you're so small and such a small market cap. So once you get into like $1 billion market cap, it's a little bit different. Yeah, I second that. Great videos. I'm glad you're here making them. AWI Designs, thank you for that. Well, I'm going to sign off. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and thanks, and have a good day, and we'll probably see you tomorrow.